with the same login ID which you registered, you would have not be able to log in. So you need to register and then you try. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itira Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Rashtra ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Class chalat ba. Bhagavad Gita class chalat ba.
Okay. Kindly keep yourself on mute unless needed. Okay. So today, day 6 of Bhagavad Gita, understanding Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. So chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. So in this chapter, we are going to see what is Astanga Yoga, right? Okay, let's take obeisances of, let's bear obeisances to Sri Radha Govind, ISKCON Mangaluru, and also to Srila Prabhupada, by whose grace we are trying to understand this Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So 1 second. Just give me a second. Okay. So, chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. So, basically the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is all about karma. So, first chapter, what did we see? What was the first chapter? What was the name of the first chapter? No one remembers? Forgot? What was the
Mataji,
chapter 1?
I
Okay.
didn't understand the yesterday's class.
You didn't understand chapter 5?
Yes, ma'am. Chapter 5.
Okay, what? Okay, it's okay. You can revisit, right? We have the recording, and then if you don't understand, then you can ask me. Fine. Okay, what you didn't understand, you
How
can
can I ask you, ma'am?
be specific.
Ma'am, how
Okay,
can I ask you if then also I not understand it?
it's okay. It will take time. Don't worry. Okay, you can attend the classes again, or you can. I mean, have you attended since first class? Have you been attending from the chapter 1, or only yesterday
Yes,
you
ma'am.
attended?
I have attended chapter 1, but mm, I have attended for chapter 1, matlab first class I have attended. But yesterday's or day after yesterday, I
Yeah.
didn't understand. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. No need to be worry about that. Okay. I mean, I have also attended so many classes. I mean, the level 1 only I have attended so many times. So no issues. It will take time to understand. Okay. Nothing to worry. And you can read the and chanting will help you to understand. So this is Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Start chanting and
I
then read Prabhupada books.
I'm
Yeah,
doing
please be.
chanting daily.
There's a lot of disturbance. Akash, can you please
I'm doing
mute yourself? Okay, let's go to the overview of the. Okay, the chapter 1 was Arjuna Vishada Yoga, and then chapter 2, the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita we learned. So, what was that? What did we learn? Something new in chapter 2? Somebody can unmute and answer. What did we learn in first lesson of that Krishna teaches in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2? What was it?
In that first chapter, Arjuna was curious about his anxiety.
Your voice is not audible. Okay.
Krishna was listening.
It's not very clear.
Hello.
Yeah, can you be a bit louder?
In the first chapter, Arjuna was curious and he was expressing himself, and Krishna was listening to all his questions.
Am I only not able to hear, or is it I'm not able to hear? Your voice is not coming as you normal. Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, you're audible.
Okay. Is my voice audible?
Yes, Mataji.
What is happening today?
network issue, Mataji.
Oh, I have audio issue. Hare Krishna. Okay, now it is audible. Am I audible? Somebody can unmute and say. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm getting the voice in. What is happening? Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. So the chapter 2, what did we learn? That Krishna spoke about the soul and properties of the soul in elaborate, right? So we saw detailedly Krishna explaining about the soul. And then in chapter 3 was Karma Yoga. And chapter 4 was Jnana Yoga. And chapter 5 was again Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. And then chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. So in this, we are going to understand about the Astanga Yoga. So here first six shloka 1 to 9, advancing in Astanga Yoga, and then stages of Astanga Yoga. So necessity of controlling the mind. So very important. And then comes destination of unsuccessful yogi. Like if somebody takes up spirituality and they couldn't continue for some reason, so what happens to them after that, this life? So very important question by Arjuna. And then Krishna explains about all the yogas and finally conclude that Bhakti Yoga is the highest and Bhakti Yogi is the topmost yogi. So this is the chapter overview. Okay, what is the meaning of yoga? You can either type in chat or you
Meditation.
can, yeah.
Meditation, Mataji.
Meditation. Okay, nice. Okay, others? So
To
everybody
relax our body. To relax our body.
relax our body. Okay. Okay. Others? Hare Krishna. Kindly
To,
participate, everyone. So you can just either you can type in chat or okay. What is the meaning of yoga? Okay, Shamli Vijay, union with God. Yes, good. Yes, very nice. Yes. Okay. Yes, that's the right answer. Actually, yoga is nothing but union with God. Okay, connecting God with God. Like first six chapter through karma we connect with God, and next six chapters from chapter 7 to chapter 12 we connect through directly through bhakti, and then from chapter 13 to 18 we connect with God. That is why it is called as yoga. So when we add something to it, then it becomes yoga. So through jnana, the last six chapters through jnana we connect with the Lord. So, Shri Bhagavanuvacha Anashita Karma Palam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Sa Sannyasi Cha Yogi Cha Nirna Cha Kriyaha. The Supreme Personality of God said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is a true mystic and not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. So Krishna is not encouraging someone who leaves everything or so here what is Krishna saying? Like one who is unattached to fruits. So you have to work, but then unattached to your fruits of the work. This is what we learned in the yesterday's chapter also, right? We should not expect for the fruit of our work. So, but he is working. It is not that he just leaves the work, but he is works as a obligated. So, as yesterday I said, disinterested obligatory duty towards the material. Whatever we work in material world, it has to be like that, like uh, Padma Pushpam Ivam Basal, right? The water does not stick to the leaf, right? The leaf does not stick to the water. So it though it is in water, it does not. It remains itself separate. So just like that, we have to work in this world without being attached. But then, where should we attach our mind? To the Lord. So that person is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. It's not like false renunciation, not doing any work, and it is not karma sannyasa. Krishna is not encouraging them. So what is yoga? Connecting to God. So there are many yogas: karma yoga, jnana yoga, astanga yoga, and bhakti yoga. So is this yoga? So we are going to see many type of different yogas. This is called as goat yoga. Have you all heard about this? I don't know. So there is something called goat yoga also. So you can see here, this is office yoga, and you can see here different yogas. So who is this? Anyone knows who is this? Who is this person? It's Hiranyakashipu, right? He was standing on one leg, and thousands of years he does the sacrifice to get benediction from Lord Brahma to become eternal, right? So this is Hiranyakashipu, and then these are different yoga for physical health, mental health,
Net.
for pregnancy, and yoga,
Hare Krishna
chair
Mataji.
yoga. Hare Krishna.
Can I leave the class because network issue?
Okay, okay,
Can I
fine.
leave the class, ma'am? Mataji?
Okay, okay, fine. So this is yoga for, even there is a yoga for cats. Okay, so we can see here different yogas: yoga, backache yoga, desktop yoga, right? So yoga, weight loss, and office yoga, tennis yoga. So what is all this about? So why are we having so many yogas, right? What do you think? Is there anything wrong in this yogas? Whatever we are seeing here, do you think anything wrong? What is missing? Something is missing in all these yogas. What is it? Can somebody tell me? You can post it in the chat also if you're not able to unmute.
Ma'am, the meditating aspect of yoga.
What is that?
The meditation aspect of yoga.
So meditation with what? With whom to meditate? On whom? Meditate? Yes. Part answer is right. So what is that? So basically what? Huh?
Actually, I heard a story about Gorakhnath ji that he prayed, meditated for a long time, and when he has to pray again, then he chose a difficult yogic pose to meditate to enhance his meditation impact.
Okay.
So that's what is missing here.
Okay. See, basically, yoga means, that's what we said. There is no connection with God here, if you see, right? It is more of a physical exercise, we can tell. It's not a yoga. If we have to say yoga, then it has to be there, the connection to the God. Okay. So this we will understand now in the Astanga Yoga. Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukha dukkeshu tata manapamanayoho. So you can read the translation.
For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same.
Yeah. So one who has conquered the mind, right? It is not so easy to conquer our mind. So for that, we need to really, how do we do that? So you have to control the senses, or how do we control the mind? Can somebody tell how can we control the mind? So once we control the mind, it says that super soul is already reached. But how to come to that level? How do we control the mind?
Then by controlling what we see, what we eat, and what we hear, by
Yeah,
controlling our surrounding.
yeah, very good answer. Basically, it is said that mind is a basically product of goodness and false egos. Okay, so if you give the good things to the mind, and then it is able to, it will be in control. Or if we are giving something of mode of passion and ignorance, as you said, the things that we see, or the where do we put our mind, right? So that impacts a lot. If it is we are giving more of sense gratification thing, then mind will be more disturbed. So here, for one who has conquered the mind, for him is the super soul is already reached. So anybody knows who is the personality in the picture? Anyone knows who is this? Okay, I'll tell. No, nothing in chat. Okay. This is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. So who is a spiritual master of Bhakti, our Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada. So he says that to control the mind, every morning we have to beat the mind 100 times with a broomstick, and then again night before going to bed we need to beat the mind 100 times with the slippers. Okay, that is what he said. So it is then only the mind will, otherwise mind will misguide us a lot, right? Mind will tell us so many things to get in touch with the sense gratification. So one who has one who has won the mind is enemy is not anywhere else. Actually, if we don't win our mind, then our enemy is our mind is itself our great enemy. I mean, one's own mind is the enemy. So what is Astanga Yoga? Okay, so Astanga Yoga is a 8-limbed connection. So there are total 8 things that we are going to do in before Samadhi. One person starts with the Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, and Dhyana, and then comes Samadhi. So what are these? We'll see in detail. Okay. So Yama means he should live alone in the secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. So before we say that I want to do meditation, so what kind of meditation Krishna is talking about here for alone. Okay, it is not like we are sitting here and doing for 1 hour meditation or half an hour meditation I do in my room, and then again I go back to my work. No, it is like completely isolated. Okay, we are going to forest. So this yogi, he goes to forest and in a secluded place where nobody is there, very far from family and everything, in the forest, and he should control the mind. And then comes the niyama. Niyama is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. So basically, only to the extent of how much, to be alive, whatever is required, so much only he has to eat. Not that he can eat too much or without any restrictions. And even the sleep, everything has to be in moderate, working, recreation. And then comes the asana, the sitting posture. So one has to lay kusha grass, so the certain kind of grass, and on the ground, and then cover it with a deer skin. So that is a dead deer skin. Okay, and then the seat should neither be too high or low. So it has to be. It should be. What to say? Like it should not be up or low, and then it has to be in a sacred place, and one should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line. So we can see how he's sitting. And also the eyes should be half closed. And so you can see stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Okay. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear. So we can see here, can you see a tiger here? Right? So forest means everything will be there, but then he should not be feared of anything. An unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me. So Krishna says that he has to meditate upon Krishna. So he meditates on the 4-handed form, that Narayana form, right? So this is the second Paramatma realization. We say in the 3 realization. What are the 3 realization? Anyone remembers from chapter 2? What is understanding God in like 3 stages? So what are the 3 realizations? Does anybody remembers?
Namsang, karma.
No, not that one. Understanding God as a light, right? That is first realization. Thinking God as a light, that is called as what is it called? We think God as a light. So that realization is called what? Like that understanding of God is called as Brahman. Okay. Brahman realization means thinking that God is light. And then comes second realization, which is called as Paramatma realization. Means the yogis are able to see Krishna in the heart in the four-handed form, right? That is in a Narayana form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. So that is called Paramatma realization. And the highest is the Bhagavan realization, which is the two-handed form of Krishna, right? So here the yogi meditates on the Paramatma feature, right? So and then, so Krishna is telling here, he has to sit like this and meditate. And next comes the pranayama. This is basically on practicing stopping the movement of the outgoing breath into incoming and incoming breath into outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance. So basically, why the yogis control their breath? So basically, it is said that once life is decided by number of breath they take. So what they do, they try to control the breath and they try to hold it for a long time, each breath, the inhaling and the outgoing. So in that way, they control the breath. So this comes in Dhruva Maharaj story, where Dhruva Maharaj was able to control the one breath, and then for many days he was not, he was holding that. So that is the Astanga Yoga. So this comes in Astanga Yoga. And then next comes Pratyahara. Pratyahara is cessation of material existence, basically completely away from material life. And then Dharana. Dharana means disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires. He is said to have attained yoga. And then comes the Dhyana. So the example given here is, as a lamp in the windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation. So basically, he has to control all his senses, mind, everything, right? Then, uh, uh, then only he's able to do the dhyana. So this dhyana is coming into the seventh stage of the Astanga Yoga. And final is the samadhi. So in samadhi, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries as arising from material contact. So these are the steps for Astanga Yoga. So basically now people, what they do one or two part only, right? Somebody does only the meditation part or only the pranayama they teach, and either or, but nobody tells what is the real purpose of yoga. So wherever you go to study or you go to learn yoga, either they are not aware or they will not disclose it, because if they tell that the main um, intention of doing the yoga is to attain God, then maybe many people will not come or they may give up, because in the initial first two itself, people are not able to do it. So how many of you are ready to take up such kind of yoga? So following all these steps like yama, niyama, asana. Anybody here? Are you willing to give this yoga a try? Anyone willing to?
Ma'am, I have noticed that when I meditate, I have noticed that my breathing stops or say reduces, that I am able to hold my breath for a longer time. And when I am conscious about it, then I start breathing more frequently.
Okay. Yes, good. Anybody else want to say anything on this? So, but the question is, are you willing to give this yoga a try? It's not just a meditation, right? So you have, are you ready to follow these steps? Is it possible in Kali Yuga? That is my question. Is it possible for Astanga Yoga in Kali Yuga? No. Neetu Dennis wants to trying Mataji. Okay. Difficult, right? Yeah. Archana, yes, right. No, yes. So it is very difficult. This is not recommended for Kali Yuga, right? Let's see before that, what is Arjuna answering for Krishna for this. Okay. So let's understand the qualities of Arjuna. So Arjuna was a great archer, right? You all know, like once in Gurukul, his guru tells him, Dronacharya tells him that he has to aim at the eye of the bird. It's a dummy bird. And he tells all his students, including the Kauravas and Pandavas. So the everybody he asks. So everyone says that, okay, what you are going able to see? Then they tell that they're able to see the mountain, the trees, and the bird and everything. But then when he asked Arjuna said that only the eye of the bird he is able to see. So that was the power of his concentration, right? He had such a great concentration power. And also when Arjuna had to marry in the Swayamvara, he married Draupadi. He had to see he had to aim to the eye of a fish, that to moving fish, and by looking at the mirror, right? He had to aim, and he did that. So that was the concentration he had. And also they had practice of living in forest, right? 12 years they were in Vanavas, and then 1 year of incognito. So he know how to live in forest, right? And who is Arjuna? He is a so he had also won Pashupati Astra from Lord Shiva, right? He had pleased Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave him Pashupati Astra. And also Arjuna is a eternal associate of the Lord. So whenever Krishna comes, Arjuna also comes, but he doesn't remember. That's all. So here, this was in Satya Yuga, where Nara Narayana Rishi, right? When Krishna came as Narayana, he was a Nara. So such Arjuna, what does he say? Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavatridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sad sudukshkaram. Can you read the translation?
For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind.
Yeah. So Arjuna was such a great warrior. So he is telling he is not able to control. So mind is restless. He's saying that mind is restless. I can, because he is he had so much capacity. Even the arrows that he can use with that he could stop the wind also. Like he could control the nature. So much power he had. So he's saying that I may be able to control the wind, but I cannot control my mind. So he is such a great person, but humbly he is accepting that controlling mind is not so easy. Just imagine, this is 5,000 years back. That was, I mean, there were not much industrialization, and there were more forests that time, right? This was before the Kali Yuga start. This was the end of the Dwapar Yuga. So in that time, Arjuna is rejecting that this is Astanga Yoga is not possible, because for Astanga Yoga, first is the mind control. One has to control the mind and the senses before he starts meditating on the Lord. Yeah, he controlled the sleep, but here it is talking about the mind control. Okay. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. So Krishna is answering now. Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena chagruhyate. Lord Shri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and detachment. So how we can do it? Is Krishna is accepting it is not easy, because Krishna knows the function of mind, right? So what is the function of mind? To accept and to reject. So here Krishna is saying that it is very difficult to control the restless mind, but possible by suitable practice and detachment. So how do we detach? Detachment means from the material and engagement the mind in the spirit, right? Means in the in hearing, like hearing the transcendental activities of Lord, and reading his books, or so, and then engaging in the devotional services of the Lord. Like there are 9 devotional services, which is either one, if we do also, we can attain the perfection. So what are they? Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam Archanam, Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So Shravana means hearing, Kirtana means to tell. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So always remembering about the Lord. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. So that is Lakshmi, who is always serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Pada Sevanam, Archanam. Archanam, Prithu Maharaj. So the elaborate deity worship that we do, that was done in Dwapar Yuga, right? Archanam, Vandanam, that is paying obeisances. So the Acharya is Akrura. So it is said like when Akrura comes to Vrindavana to take Lord Krishna and Balram to Mathura, he paid obeisances on the way, and the Akrura's prayers are very famous, and it is there in Bhagavatam. So Vandanam, Dasyam you all know, Lord Hanuman, right? And Sakyam means as a friend. So that is Arjuna, and Atma Nivedanam is Bali Maharaj. So in this way, we can do devotional service to the Lord. So how can we, so Prabhupada gives in the Papad that by treating, like how the treatment for the mad mind is that we have to eat the food stuff which is offered to Krishna. So we saw in the chapter 3, Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you offer, give it to me. So what we have to give to Krishna and do, otherwise it will be sinful. So the Krishna, yeah, that is the right one to, that is the right diet for a suffering patient. Prabhupada says that, yeah, prasadam, basically prasadam. Yeah, this treatment is the process of Krishna consciousness. So that's how we have to, we can control the mind. So we have to give a better engagement for the mind, basically. So is mind a friend or enemy? Okay, you may answer. So is your mind a friend or your enemy?
Is a part that by our behavior choose to be our enemy or angel.
Yeah, so it can be both, right? So it is not one, right? It can, sometimes it acts as an enemy and sometimes it acts as a friend, right? In some situation it is enemy, and in, okay, friend. Tapatya Das says friend. Is it always a friend? Is it possible that always a mind is friend? So we have to train, okay? It is possible. So Krishna says with a proper practice and detachment, that is possible. But it takes a lot of effort from our side also. It's not, by controlling senses and these things is not possible. Okay? One does not control his mind. Always, it is said that one who cannot control his mind is always stays with his enemy. Yeah, tug of war in mind. Okay. So basically, in so the next sloka explains about this. Bandhuratma Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenatmaivatma manajitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat.
For the one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be his greatest enemy.
Yeah. So for the one who has conquered the mind, so we have to conquer the mind. So how do we do that? So let's see.
By choosing our friends wisely, by choosing our workplace wisely.
Yeah. Yes. Nice. So that is also a part, but then we have to, what we can, the thing is like in this yuga, okay, I think we will get it in, so basically you have to start chanting. Basically what happens in the chanting, the mind is basically, Krishna is called as Rishikesha, right? So Rishikesha means the one who is the owner, or the master of sense and mind. So when we engage our mind in chanting the holy name, so what happens? The mind automatically comes to the control. Okay. And also, as you said, that is also very important, like how we choose, what we see, how we engage our senses. These things are very important. So we saw in chapter 3, right, how the hierarchy, like the once you basically, instead of controlling the senses, mind, we saw like a hierarchy. What was the hierarchy, if you remember? So first comes the body, that is the material thing, right? So higher to body is the senses, higher to senses is mind, higher to mind is the intelligence, higher to intelligence is the soul, right? So if we are only trying to control the lower level to the senses and mind, it is very difficult. But then when you give something to the soul, right, automatically what happens? Somebody is asking. Yeah. So automatically what happens? It becomes easier for your intelligence to tell the mind to choose what is right, what is wrong, right? So start feeding the soul. So now Arjuna's question: what is the destination of an unsuccessful yogi? So if somebody, it's very important question, right? Even we may think, okay, for some time I may do, or maybe during old age, or if I am not able to do it for some reason, if I leave it in between, right? Some people may do like 30% or 40% spiritual life, and then for some reason they are not able to do it, they leave it. So what happens to such people? So Krishna is answering, there are two instances here. In one, Krishna is saying like the first one is for people who have done like 40-50%, okay, and in this life, and they leave this world. So for such people, Krishna answers, Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha shuchinam srimatam gehe yoga brashto bhijayate. Okay, can you read the translation here?
The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy.
Yeah. So basically, what happens when a person has done some spirituality, right? So what Krishna does for him in next life, he is given like first he's going to the pious planet and he's enjoying there for so many years. And then when he takes birth again in this world, he is given an opportunity to be born in a rich family. Why rich family? Because what happens if they're born, if usually if we think if somebody is very poor, okay, they have to work so hard to fill their stomach. So for such people, how can they think about spirituality? It is very difficult, no? Like you are not able to take care of your daily needs. So how can you think of God? It becomes very hard for them to focus on spirituality. So Krishna makes such an arrangement that they have been given a birth in a rich family so that they can take it spirituality very easily. But here also there is a problem. Can somebody tell what will be the problem if um, for taking spirituality, even if you're born in a rich family, what can happen? What can happen?
The person could get lost in the Maya.
Yeah, very true. So there is a chance, right? So we see in the world also, there are so many rich people. There may be some reasons they have become rich, but many times there may be possibility that they may forget also. But here Krishna is saying that these people who have done the pious activity, for them Krishna will give the remembrance. Such kind of remembrance will be given even if they're rich. So they'll be attracted towards the spirituality, because Krishna says matta smriti gnanam apohanam cha. So from me comes the memory, intelligence and forgetfulness. That comes in the later chapter. I think it's in chapter 30. So yeah, so this is the first one. And in second shloka, this is for people who have done like more than 90%, right, in this life. And then they, so what happens to them in So if they're not able, say little bit like 10% was not complete, they couldn't do perfection. So if they do perfection, what happens? They can go to spiritual world, right? So but then now they have to take birth again. But such people, what happens? So Krishna says, Athava yogi name va kule bhavati dhimatam etaddi durlabhataram loke janma yadishadam. Okay, the translation is not here, so I read from here. Translation: or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world. So he'll be born in like a Vaishnava family, or the people, his family people, they already know about this, the wisdom, right? About the God. And there we know, like, so Krishna says that this such birth is very rare. It is not easy to get such birth. Like we see, if we see Prabhupada's life, he was born in a Vaishnava family. From very small age, he know like how to worship the deities. He had his own deities. Like at the age of 5, his father gave him Radha Krishna deities, and he used to every day offer prayers. He used to give prasad every day. He used to give prasad, and these things was coming from childhood itself. So such a facility will be given to such people, and but this is very rare. Tatra tam buddhi sanyogam lavate paurvadehikam etate cha tato bhuyah tam siddhau kurunandana. Okay, can you read?
On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. O son of Kuru.
Yeah. So he will be able to revive the divine consciousness of his previous life. So Krishna gives that remembrance to him. So we see many children, right? A very small age, they are able to recite all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Or we have seen many children. How do they? I mean, they're so strong in philosophy. Very small age, they are able to, because that's all because of the previous life. They must have done some austerity in previous life. Otherwise, it is not possible. So we understand from this shloka. पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रियते हि अवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्मा विवर्तते.
By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendental stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures.
Yeah, so we can see like these are the children of Mayapur Gurukul. We have a Gurukul in Mayapur, Kolkata. So very less people they take, and they're trained in such a way in very small age. They have been trained. They're like all Vedas are taught to them, and Sanskrit is taught, and all the instruments, different instruments for music, and all round development is seen. So these children are like, how do they get this? This is all possible only when they have that from previous birth, right? They don't. It's very nice actually to see them. I mean, we had been to Mayapur. We had a Mayapur trip in last October. So all, it is not just from India. Okay, all the children from different part of the world, and so nicely they are able to recite the shlokas. Can't imagine like it. There's so much. Trained in that, so the children, that is because they have their parents are also, because they're born in such a family, so parents are also pure Vaishnavas, and they have been given such a training. Prayatnad yatamaanastu yogi samshuddha kilbishah aneka janma samsiddhis tato yati param gatim.
And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal.
Yeah. So that person, after so sincerely after he engages, so once all contaminations. So all the material contaminations, after it is washed away, then only that person will not have, like, until that we have to keep on taking birth and death, right? This cycle of life and birth and death will not be over until the person attains the perfection. So then who is the greatest yogi? So this is Narada Muni. You know that Narada Muni is the greatest yogi. And these are the yogas. All the yogas are progression towards the destination of Bhakti Yoga. So basically the goal is the Bhakti Yoga. So it starts with the Karma Yoga. So gradually one will elevate in the ladder. So this is the hierarchy. So Karma Yoga, and then comes Jnana Yoga, Astanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So what may happen, maybe in this also there is sometimes difficulty, in the sense, the problem is that, so the person may be doing Karma Yoga, but there is a chances that he may get attached to the fruits of the results, right? The fruits of his actions. So that may possible. And in Jnana Yoga, what happens? The person may get attached to he starts his own mental speculation. So there is his own interpretations he starts. And then is in Astanga Yoga. So when Astanga Yoga person does, he gets some siddhis. So to become the smallest of the smallest, and to the lightest of the lightest. So there are different siddhis. So to become invisible, or so what happens? The yogi may start to demonstrate to other people on these yogas. So he will focus his, instead of attaining God, he forgets that the main thing, and then there may be a chances that he get distracted. And then comes the Bhakti Yoga, right? So if one take directly Bhakti Yoga, then it is not required for him to do any of this. Means he has already done all this. If somebody who has taken Bhakti Yoga has already understood because he has understood that Krishna is I need to surrender to Lord, and I have to, what is his real duty as a soul. He has to render the service to the Lord. So Bhakti Yoga is the highest. So who is the topmost yogi? Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. Kindly read the translation.
And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all.
Yeah. So here we can see the Krishna playing with Gopa boys, right? So it is not so easy to get association of Lord as a friend. So they have done so much of austerity in previous lives. That is the reason they have got that opportunity to become a friend. It's not like just like that they got. So we saw in chapter 4, like how Krishna appears in the womb of Devaki and Vasudeva, like he becomes a child of Vasudeva and Devaki. So basically before that, in previous birth in Satya Yuga, they were Krishna and Sutapa, and they did meditation for 10,000 years, right? After that, they become Aditi and Kashyapa, and then next life was Krishna was born in their, born as their son. So to become a friend of Krishna, or to in any association like in Dasya or whatever relationship to have with Krishna, is not so easy. The person must have done so much of austerity in their previous life. So the meditating on the personal form of the Lord is the highest, and having the personal relationship with the Lord is the highest. That is what here it is said. Okay, chant. Agoris, they're not, that is not right. They're not even yoga, you can call that, because they're having all that too contaminated, that dead body, right? That is not actually that agoris. You cannot even consider. Uh, they're not following the right religion, first of all.
I have heard it that practicing the Ghori rituals, one can attain the Riddhi Siddhis more faster than any other normal rituals, as one have to just completely detach from everything, even the single piece of cloth.
Yeah, but actually the pure devotion is not even getting siddhis, right? Even because that and all is there is no there, that is some kind of a sense gratification only, getting siddhis also. So it is for their own enjoyment. There is no pure devotional service there. But I don't know like what agoris if they are able to do siddhis, but even that is not pure. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that ज्ञानी सिद्धि कामी सकले अशांति कृष्ण भक्त एव निष्काम सा shanti means the other people jnani karmis, they all are, nobody can be peaceful because they all have some desires to get. So jnani also he want to attain more knowledge or and in the and even the karmi he want to attain some higher planets, so he has the aim, so he works and he does the sacrifices and these things, right? But then even the siddhis also they want something from God, but only the devotee of the Lord, he the pure devotee, he does not expect anything from the Lord other than serving the Lord, so that is the highest. Okay. So different yoga practice for different yuga. So for Satya Yuga, it was meditation. So in Satya Yuga, people used to live for more than 1 lakh years, this said. So then they used to, it was possible for them to meditate for many, many years, right? And next comes the Treta Yuga, so where the sacrifices were done. So for sacrifice also, this we need lot of ghee, and also it is very difficult for Kali Yuga. We cannot afford tons of ghee is required for sacrifices. And then for Dwapar Yuga, the practice was temple worship, elaborate temple worship. So every hour it was said that they used to worship the Lord. So Prithu Maharaj used to do like this in Dwapar Yuga. But can we do any of this in this Yuga? Even the Satya Yuga, we don't have a forest, or we cannot control our mind and sit for so long time, right? It's very difficult even for us to meditate for 1 hour. So how is it possible? Yeah. Yes. Yes, you can ask your question.
Ma'am, in Treta Yuga, there were sacrifices. You said a lot of ghee was offered, but ma'am,
Yeah.
we don't own the ghee, so how can we sacrifice something that we don't own? Is that
Ghee is
ghee?
made of milk.
Yes.
It's not owning. We need to buy, right? What do you mean by you owning? Like we have to buy the ghee and we have to do it.
Ma'am,
Ghee is
what
available, na?
sacrificing the wealth or everything that you have earned?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, means tons
Uh,
of ghees are required, right?
offered
So much
things.
of ghee, we cannot afford so much now, right? In Kali Yuga, it is very difficult. In Treta Yuga, they were able to do it. And also with the mantras, they were able to ignite the fire. So much powerful brahmanas we had then. So it is very difficult for Kali Yuga, right? So all these are for different yugas. It is just like doctor prescribes certain medicine for certain disease. Similarly, certain thing is given for certain yuga. Only that will work. So for what is for Kali Yuga it is given as chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Yes. So you all Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam. Kalau nasti eva nasti gatir anyata. So basically, it is said in Shastras that for Kali Yuga, there is no other option than chanting the holy name of the Lord. And so there is two options for us. Everybody has a choice. Either we want to go through Karma Yoga and Dhyana Yoga and we saw the Astanga Yoga and then reach the Bhakti Yoga, or do we go by the stairs or we take the elevator? So which is better? So you just imagine you have to go to a 60th floor. So which one do you choose? The steps are the elevator.
Elevator, definitely.
Elevators, right? So that would be a smart choice. So we have a lesser years, and Kali Yuga, it is said that it is given in Bhagavatam that prayena alpayu kale asmin jana manda sumandamatayo mandabada upadrita. So in Kali Yuga, lives are very short lived. Okay, kalena alpayu Manda Sumanda Matayo means Manda Sumanda means they are very less intelligent compared to, we can know like Arjuna was able to understand Bhagavad Gita in just a span of 45 minutes. It is said. This whole thing happened in 45 minutes. But for us to even understand the basic things, very few things in 18 days is very difficult, right? So that is our intelligence. Our intelligence is very low, and it will go even further low when the Kali Yuga comes to an end. So at least we are in a golden period of Kali Yuga. Okay, but still our intelligence is nowhere compared to that of the previous age. So even the Bhagavatam, the whole Bhagavatam, 18,000 shlokas, Shukamuni tells, and then there all the sages and Suta Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, they all just heard. Okay, they were not taking any notes or such, right? But they were able to digest it, everything, whatever they hear. So this is not possible in Kali Yuga. So for Kali Yuga, whatever is told, that we have to follow. The chanting of the holy name, because that is the easiest way to know to understand God. So we have to be smart enough to make a right choice. So what is mantra? So man means mind, tra means deliver. So delivering the mind is called as mantra. So if we can do chanting in a different way, so alone if we are chanting, so that is called as japa. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that becomes japa. And Sankirtan means doing along with others, like collectively we do with the people. So somebody is singing and the others will be repeating. So in Ratha Yatra, where Lord Jagannath, so God comes to see the people. So that is everyone participates there, and without any it's not restricted to certain caste or people. Everybody participates, and it is benefited to everyone. Prabhupada says that if we are chanting, even the animals get benefited. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Jharkhand forest, so it is said that even when he was chanting, all the wild animals were dancing, because basically he is God himself, and they are soul. Everybody they are soul, right? But maybe they were able to regain their consciousness because he was God himself. So it is said even animals get benefited when we chant loudly at home, right? If you have any pets at home, even they can get delivered. So what are the scriptural references for chanting the holy name of the Lord? So some scriptural, there are many. So to name a few, we are having few of them we are mentioning here. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, chapter 3, verse 42 says, Krite yadhyayate vishnum tretayam yajato makaihi vapare paricharyayam kalau tat harikirtanat. So what does it say? Krite yadhyayato Vishnu. So in Satya Yuga, it is said Vishnu Smarana was the option. So people used to chant the Vishnu, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's what he said while chanting, Dhruv Maharaj, when he was doing the Astanga Yoga. And then Treta Yuga. In Treta Yuga, Yajato, what do they worship? So Makai is that is sacrifice, the sacrifice. And then Dwapara Yuga comes, Paricharyan. So that is Dwapara Yuga, that temple worship, and Kalau Hari Kirtana. So in the Kirtana of Hari, the chanting the holy name. So another in Narayana Samhita says that in the age of Kali, people should simply chant the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Kali Santarna Upanishad says. So you can read.
After searching through all the Vedic literature, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for this age than the chanting of Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So this is Bruhad Narayana Purana. It says Hare Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Nasti Eva Nasti Gatir Anyata. That means this read.
In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way.
Yeah. So one time if it says, it's important in the scripture. So three times if it is said, it is really very important, right? And this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sutta Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj about the Kali Yuga. Please read.
My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. It is that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom.
Yeah. And then Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 25, that Yagnanam Japa Yagnosmi. That means of sacrifices, I am chanting of the holy name. And in Shikshastakam, Chaitanya Charita Amrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given 8 shlokas. In his lifetime, he has only given the 8 verses. That too, he had not given. Rupa Goswami had noted in different time. So it says that Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadrishi Tava Krupa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Drusham Yajani Nanuragaha. Please read.
My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity. And therefore you have many names, such as Krishna and Govinda. You have invested all your potencies in those names. And there are no hard and fast rules for remembering.
So when we take the name of the Lord, it has all the potencies. So it is like when we say chant the holy name, it is like you're directly speaking to Krishna or connecting with Krishna. Okay. So it has all the potencies. And there are no hard and fast rules. So there are no timing or you have to do after bath or before bath. Or so we will see that now. So there are no rules at all. Any time you can chant. So do's and don'ts of chanting. So do's of chanting. So chant the Panchatattva mantra before starting to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So what is the Panchatattva mantra? Okay, this is the Panchatattva mantra. Jayesh, so this is, you can see the mala. If you have already taken, okay, I don't know if anybody of you have already got. You get the book and you get one mala free. But this is a Tulsi mala, what I'm having with me. So this is called as Krishna Bed. Okay, this is the one. So with this, use your middle finger and the thumb. We don't use this finger. Okay. So use this and you have to chant the Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And then we chant. Okay. Chant audibly, loud enough to hear the mantra. So when you chant, you should be able to hear at least. It's not like in mind you do, because then we get different thoughts and we get diverted. So, but when you chant loudly, what happens? You try to listen. So chanting, it is said, it should be only about the mouth and ears. There's no thought or mind. Mind should not come in between when you're chanting. So only when you chant loudly, just try to hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, like that you complete the one round and you come to the last beat, right? So when you come to the last beat, again before starting next round, we have to start with again Panchatattva mantra here. And then the last beat becomes your first beat for the second round. Okay, this is how we have to do. So it has to be loudly and pronounce each name distinctly. Okay. So it should not be fast. When we say, it should not be like half cut, right? Distinctively. It should not be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, like that. It should not be like the proper pronunciation. Chant with respect, devotion, and concentration. So concentration when chanting, we have to have it on that. Not like we are seeing some mobile or watching TV or doing some other work and chanting. No, we have to do with concentration. So you can sit in any place, sitting or walking, facing any direction. So there are no, there is no restriction. Any place or anywhere you can sit and chant. Even while traveling, you can chant. There are no restrictions. You can chant any time. So there is no time restrictions that you have to chant. But then it is recommended to do in Brahma Muhurta. Brahma Muhurta means before the sun rises, 2 hours before the sunrise. It's called as Brahma Muhurta. Why? Because that time mind is very sattvic, and it is said that many devatas are also, they'll be seeing and they'll be very pleased. So they will also bless us. So that is the right time to chant in the early morning. And Krishna is also said very alert, right? He is very alert. We can, Krishna will be able to hear us in that time because he is free. Later, then Krishna says that he is very busy in the different activities, right? Krishna is engaged in pastimes. That his everyday Leela will be happening in the spiritual world. So you can chant either before or taking bath, but it is recommended you take bath and do, so that you will not feel sleepy. If early morning you are getting up and chanting, if you're taking bath, you will feel fresh. So, but there are no restrictions. So it is recommended to chant by keeping count. So preferably on mala having 108 beads. So each mala has a 108 beads. Okay. So somebody says, okay, I chant all the day, but I don't keep count. So that is not recommended. So like how doctors give for certain disease, he said that you have to take certain recommendations, right? The doctor give different tablet, and the dosage is there. Only so much you have to take, 1 tablet or half tablet, whatever is given, that we have to take. So similarly, 108 bead is the 1 mala. So we have to do 1 mala, and then 16 round is what Prabhupada has given. So try to increase your rounds as you advance, but start with minimum 1 round. That is 108 is 1 mala. So now don'ts of the chanting. So one should not chant a portion of the Mahamantra, like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Then stop it, and you cannot do like that. You have to complete it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One should not chant on the Krishna bead. So on this, we cannot chant Hare Krishna. Okay. So that is only for the Panchatattva. One should not chant while reading a book or newspaper or watching TV and mobiles. So now what are the benefits of chanting? So freedom from anxiety and stress. So you can see that devotees are always free of anxiety. I mean, they don't be, if we see in temple, right? Because they have only the prasad, and they're always engaged in devotional service of the Lord. They're not in any anxiety because they know that Krishna is the controller. So yesterday's 5.29 shloka, what did it say? Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surudam sarvabhutanam gnatva mam shanti gacchati. So if you understand that Krishna is in the full control, so then there is no anxiety and stress. So when they chant the Hare Krishna mantra, they'll be free from anxiety and stress. So the person is able to establish the peace of mind. So Krishna is a Rishikesha. So when we submit our senses and mind to Krishna, automatically our mind becomes peaceful. So the real happiness, right? You can see the true happiness, because Krishna is called as Satchid Ananda. So Satchid Ananda. So when we connect with the Lord, right? we also become, because soul is also eternal knowledge and the blissful. So that blissful nature is obtained when we connect to the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan. So Bhagavan realization only has that blissful nature. So when we connect with Bhagavan, that is Krishna, so you also become blissful. And the enlightenment, right? So chanting the holy name, so enlighten us. So the person is able to understand the knowledge. Krishna reveals himself to the person, and the person becomes enlightened. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So freedom from reactions of sin. Right? So there are two ways we can undergo the sinful reaction. One is by getting punishment for our karmas, right? That's what happens when we die. We are taken to the, this comes in a Canto 5. When I have not studied fully, I'm afraid to see that. So I have only listened in the Bhagavatam class that detailedly is explained, like for what karma, what sin, what sin, what we have done, for that different punishments are there. It is detailedly explained. We can see here. For some, it is like how they're torturing, right? He is drinking, and for him, something they're pouring the molten, hot, what you say, the iron, and then here they're torturing, and for different things. So here in the boiling oil. So how is this done? We are given a body where we can suffer the pain. It is called as yatana sharira. Okay, yatana sharira is given. So because we leave this body, right? This material body will not come with us. So only the soul goes, but the soul is going to get a body where it can take the pain, right? The emerge in the hell. And then only before that is one thing. So undergo the sinful. And the second one is chanting the holy name. You come out of all the reactions, right? Sinful reactions. So when we surrender to God, Krishna says, Sarva dharmam paritejya mamekam sharanam raja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshami masucha. So I will protect you from all kind of sins. Don't worry. Krishna gives assurance. Relief from unwanted drives and habits. So in our present condition, we are slaves to any whimsical thoughts and desires, right? People are addicted to all kind of habits, right? Everybody wants to leave, but nobody is able to. Somebody is smoking, he want to leave, but he cannot. He's so much addicted. And even the person, why? Because we are so much attached to our mind. In the chapter 2, we were seeing that our mind was compared to Duryodhana, right? We are so much attached, and we are compared to Dhritarashtra, where we are so much attached to mind, we cannot say no to mind. Whatever mind is asking and our senses is asking, we want to feed it. So we have become a slaves of our senses, and because of that, we are not able to control our thoughts and desires. But when we start chanting, all these negative things will go away. Slowly, everything will go. So what should we do? We need to chant. Okay, you all can unmute and chant along with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Together we can chant. You can unmute. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Rama Hare
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 Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you. Okay, isn't chat. Okay. It happens many times when I'm chanting my prayer unconsciously and there are some thoughts roaming inside my head. Yeah, it happens to everyone. It's okay. You just have to bring your mind back. Okay. Make sure that you bring it back and then chant. So it happens because the mind work is that. So it's fine. chant either 3 times or 11, or if possible 108. No other counting would be beneficial. See, our Acharya has given us 16 rounds. Okay. So either one round is 108, or you can do any number, nothing like that. But to protect us from Maya, so Prabhupada says that we need, it's like a dosage. So 16 rounds are required. Actually, Prabhupada's guru had given 64 rounds. And Prabhupada, when he went to West, he said 64. He was able to make out that it was not literally possible for them. Then Prabhupada reduced to 32. That also they were not possible. And then Prabhupada said, okay, finally I give you 16 rounds. Less than this, I cannot reduce. You have to do for 16 rounds. And Prabhupada says that if you do 16 rounds, I will take you back to Godhead. So that is assurance from Prabhupada. And so, and then what you're saying? There is saying that if you visit Kashi, then after death you will be witnessing Mahayatna for about a fraction of a second by Mahakal, and you'll be free from all. Okay. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Mataji, I have a question that I cannot sleep until I chant the Hare Krishna mantra, but now I chant by sleeping. Is this the correct way, or should I have to change my practice? I cannot sleep until I chant the Hare Krishna. But now I chant by sleeping. I didn't get your question actually.
I usually chant while sleeping, Mataji. Is that correct way that you told
Sleeping
me?
means, okay, while sleep, okay, without count you are doing? Is it
With
without
count, Mataji, with count. In the hands, I'll be counting 108 times.
Okay, you can do, but advisably, like it is good that you have to, I mean, outside if you do, because bed is a tamasic, no? And it's okay. It is, I mean, it is good. While sleeping also, we are telling it is good. But ideally, you do one round at least before that. You can, right? You can do the chanting, because you may fall asleep when you're, if usually what happens if you are in bed and you're chanting, you may fall asleep. You will not complete the rounds. I have tried many times. I mean, I do, I complete my rounds, but while sleeping, when I think that I will chant and I'll complete, but somewhere in the mid only I will get sleep sometimes. So I will not be able to complete the round. So is ideally it is better you do it. Proper count you may not get, you may miss the count. Yes, Agrim, you have a question?
Ma'am, about that sacrifices thing, that I have heard that Dashanana offered his heads to Lord Shiva so that he can gain his desired boons, and
Who
even
is
Sri
that? Dashanan.
Dashanan, Ravan.
Okay, Ravana. Okay.
After all these incidents, he got the name Ravan.
Oh,
He offered his heads or something, and many people offered their body parts or something very
yeah.
precious to them. And there's this incident mentioned. Sri Rama, when was fighting with Ravan himself, uh, they both performed some yags, and Sri Rama has to offer a number of specific flowers to the goddess,
Mm.
and the goddess imposed a test on him where she hid one of the flowers, and then Sri Rama was called that his eyes were equivalent to that flower, and then he chose to offer his eye for the sake of good.
Okay.
He didn't offer it, but he was ready to offer it, and
Okay.
then the goddess appeared and blessed him for victory.
Okay. 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 This is from which Purana?
Um, um, I am not remembering the Purana, but yes, I have heard it. I watched some YouTube videos, Facebook videos, plus some articles about that.
Okay, okay. But just be careful when you're watching like that, because sometimes what happens, the people, I mean, anything they may post. I mean, it may be right what you're telling now, but what I'm just telling you, like when you watch, it is better to see a proper, buy one proper book which is coming from a proper sampradaya or something, and then you read. Okay, then that it will be right. Otherwise, because even in TV serials also they give their they change everything, they make it everything commercialized. There may not be anything happened as such in the Krishna Leela, but they change everything. So there is a chances, like when you go to Google and Facebook, these things, that source may not be right. So just be careful about it. So because that will affect your thought process also if you are reading and more. Okay.
So, ma'am, about the sacrifices thing, what the people usually sacrifice them? Were animals sacrificed?
No, animal sacrifice is not for Vishnu, because Vishnu is only sattvic, right? So sattvic means no sacrifice. This is itself is called a sacrifice, the japa yagna. So Krishna says that yagnanam japa yagnosmi. That is, this is also a sacrifice. When you do japa, this is a kind of sacrifice, and this is the one which is recommended for Kalpa.
And
No other
ma'am,
sacrifice.
I have witnessed a bali in front of my eyes once.
Oh.
It Meerut. I was going to see goddess Kali, and I just happened to see a goat was sacrificed there.
Okay.
So, is it the right practice or something that some people do sacrifice animals for?
Yeah, they do, especially for Devi, they do. Actually, once I had also been to that in Kolkata, the Devi temple is there, no? But I have seen the goat was tied, but that was not, I mean, not in front of me. I have not seen, but
I have
it was
when
they had tied.
the knife went down and I removed my head out of there.
Yeah, it is very hard to see that, right? So see, we don't have right to kill any animal like that if we are not able to give it a better birth. Because in earlier ages, if they were if they were killing for sacrifice, that animal would get a human birth in his next life, right? At least it will not go to all otherwise animals means they have to go through all evolution one after their life. Like first they get in the water species, and then they become a bird, and then they become four-legged animal, like that they become and they evolve to human being, right? We have also gone through all those stages. We don't remember. But then if we are not able to do that, then what right do we have to stop one somebody's life? Like, because otherwise what will happen if we are killing for any reason one animal, we are stopping them from growing spiritually, like that animal has to again be born the same to it, because it has to go through that karma or the cycle. So it has to go through that, not the karma, the evolutionary cycle. So it has to take birth again as a goat, and it has to again start. So we are actually, and also it is said that if we do that, it is like in next life we can also become food for the other person. That person may become a human being and we can become a goat. So the karma is like that. So karma will not leave us like that. So that is not actually recommended.
I mean, many people offer fish to goddess Durga in Bengal.
Yes.
They believe that it's a holy practice to offer fish.
Yeah, it is all mode of ignorance. Okay. Because as I told you, there are different Puranas, Satvik Purana, Tamsik Purana, and Rajo Purana. So these are all practiced from Tamsik Purana, but people are, it is not recommended so much to do, but people have taken granted and they're doing as they wish. Then they are all going to suffer the consequence, whatever they believe, right? Okay, yes, you have a question. You have raised your hand. Yes. Yes, Pariharmali.
Yes, when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we are told if we chant 16 rounds, then we will go to means like Swarg.
It's not Swarg. Swarg means it's heaven. Okay, spiritual world is different. Okay, Swarg means you go there, pious activity done, again take birth here. But we don't want to be born again this material world. We want to go back to spiritual world. That is spiritual world, Krishna's world. That is called as Goloka.
And
Yeah.
what it is called? What it is
Goloka.
called?
Goloka,
Sorry?
Goloka or Vaikunta, Goloka. So these planets, we will not return if we go.
Okay. And then what is Sanatan Dharm, Sanatan Dham and Bhagavad Dham? Is it the same?
Bhagavad Dham, yeah, Bhagavad Dham is also same, Vaikunta.
Okay.
Yeah, where God resides, right? Actually, there are you in chapter 8, you will see I'll show you the planets, different planets, and where the God resides. So that will come. Okay, the Goloka chart will be explained in chapter 8.
Okay, ma'am, as you told, Sri Prabhupada just has said, if we chant 16 rounds, then we will attain what? What did you told?
No, he said that it is my responsibility. I take you to Krishna's abode. So he takes a
Okay.
responsibility as a spiritual master because we are following his instructions, right? So for that, he's saying you do 16 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles, and but then Prabhupada says that I will take you to the spiritual world.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, the Kshatriyas were allowed to hunt animals weren't they? Actually, in it is not given in Shastras. If you see, like in Parikshit Maharaj's time, he sees a cow and bull, right? The Kali attacks the bull, and then he tries to hurt her leg. Okay, one leg, and then Parikshit Maharaj takes out the sword to kill the Kali, because even an animal was not tortured in that time. So maybe it was for bull and cow, I don't know, because they were considered to be very holy, the bull and the cow. The other animals, maybe Kshatriyas, but for Kshatriyas, in one place I read recently, that Prabhupada says that for them, if they do, even for them, it is like if Kshatriyas do, then they were doing only if it is God's wishes there. Religiously, if you do, then there is benefit even for animal. If it is given in Shastras, otherwise, no. Hunting animals. Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, I have heard it that the Kshatriyas were allowed to hunt animals, and the animals they used to hunt were given heavenly planets as they contributed to their warriorship or something, so that they can
Yes.
become a little bit cold-blooded and attain victory in the.
Yeah. If it is, that is what, if it is given in scriptures, then they will attain. If they are, because they would do as per the rules, not physically, they would not kill some animal, or they may do, I mean, if they are allowed, because for Kshatriyas it is allowed. And even Prabhupada says that some yeah, they are allowed to do, like it is not like they have to be always like they're not on a soft nature or like that. Kshatriyas are allowed to fight, or they can kill. And if they are allowed, they are given in the scriptures, then it is not bad. As you said, the animal may get a heavenly planet, or the people also who perform also, they also get liberated when they do that act. So if it is given in scriptures, so basically the Bhagavatam is the highest. So, but Bhagavatam, I have not heard about this regarding this. I think these things may come in Puranas, which uh, Vyasadeva has written in the previous to writing Bhagavatam, the different Puranas.
Ma'am, I'm remembering a question my friend asked me, and
Mm.
it was about that a hunter hit a rabbit with his arrow, and
Mm.
the arrow almost killed him, but he was half alive, and a person treated him medically and saved his life. And then
Mm.
they both were fighting that who owns the rabbit now.
Okay. Mm.
And then
Then
he asked me that who do you think is the actual owner of that rabbit?
the one who saved, right? I think.
And what I replied is that the rabbit is free of any will. He can do whatever he want. But then Gautam Buddha, it was during the time of Gautam Buddha, and he gave a judgment on this. And I wasn't able to talk more about it.
Mm.
But it was that who deserved the ownership of that rabbit, and uh, who was having a good karma or bad karma there.
Mm.
That because the hunter hunted him for his family's sake, they were starving to death, and if he hadn't killed that rabbit for his family, they would have died.
Okay.
And so, who owns the rabbit?
So what was
What?
the answer?
I'm asking you.
Oh, you are asking me. You know the answer?
No, ma'am, I don't know the answer. Is it a bad karma or is it a good
No,
karma?
see,
Because family.
no, actually, it is said in Shastras that one living entity subsists on the other. That is a karma. But it is not acceptable for human beings. Because for human beings, there are so many things God has given. There are fruits, right? We can cook so many things and eat. It is not like we have to kill someone for our satisfying our taste buds. So that is not for human beings. Human life, we are not, we cannot do that, and we can justify that. Okay, I had to save my family and I had to kill. But I don't know, like even the I think even in forest you will get fruits and other things, right? Lot of things to eat. I don't know, like for hunter, but because usually for human beings it is not acceptable. We cannot tell that I had to feed my family, so I had to kill some animal. What right do we have to kill somebody else? And we do. Can we do the same thing with some the human species or like that? We cannot do, no. So similarly, it is also a life. Who has given us right to kill it? Nobody has given right, no? Because for Krishna, everybody are same. Krishna says, um, sarva yonishu kaunteya aham bija pradapita. Like in all the yoni, in all the 84 lakh species, I am the seed giving father. So for Krishna, everybody are same, and Krishna is there as Paramatma in everyone's heart. So who has given us right to decide that I am higher and he is lower? So animal also can think. If a tiger has not got food for many days, if a human being goes there, it will attack and eat. So we can tell that is right. So we cannot justify this. I don't think this can be justified. You can tell that this is right.
It was just a judgment he gave that I had to do it for my family. So I am not wrong here. I did the righteous thing. It was the
Okay.
same family that I killed that
Okay,
rabbit.
but I feel that, see, just because it's a helpless animal, we are becoming a controller there, right? We are trying to control over it because we are on a higher thing. We can control. It's a small animal. So how correct is that to do like that and behave? Uh, it is not right. According to me, it is not right. I don't know what exactly is that. What was Buddha told for that? I don't know. I don't think he would have accepted for sacrifice because he was the one who condemned the sacrifice of any animal. So that is why he rejected the Vedas also in Lord Buddha. Okay, fine. Shall we close for today? So please do
Yes,
start chanting. Yeah, okay. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनन्तकोटि वैष्णववृन्द की जय नमोचार्य ठाकुर की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Good night. Hare Krishna.